At the beginning, they laughed, not loudly, not always in front of you. Sometimes it was a small smile. Sometimes it was a look, the look people give when they think you're dreaming too big. You know the one, the kind that silently says, "This person has no idea how the world really works." They saw your ideas, your goals, your ambition, and to them, it looked ridiculous, because from their perspective, you were just another ordinary person trying to do something extraordinary, and in their minds, ordinary people don't become extraordinary. So, they laughed. They laughed when you talked about your plans. They laughed when you said you wanted more from life. They laughed when you refused to settle for the same routine everyone else accepted. But what they didn't understand was that every person who has ever built something meaningful in this world started the same way. Unknown, unproven, and easy to doubt, because the early stages of success always look like failure. When someone is working silently, building something nobody else can see, it looks pointless from the outside. They don't see the hours. They don't see the discipline. They don't see the effort happening behind closed doors. All they see is someone chasing a dream that hasn't become real yet, and that's why they laugh. But what most people forget is something simple. Every great result begins as something invisible. Before the success, there is silence. Before the recognition, there is doubt. Before the victory, there is a long period where it feels like nothing is working. And this is the stage where most people quit. Not because they lack talent, not because they lack ability, but because they can't handle the feeling of being underestimated, being doubted. By others is uncomfortable, but the real challenge is something deeper. Not allowing those doubts to become your own. Because once you start believing what they believe about you, the game is over. The people who eventually succeed are not always the smartest. They are not always the most talented, but they are usually the ones who are continued moving forward when everyone else stopped believing. They kept showing up day after day, when nobody was watching, when nobody cared, when nobody expected anything from them. And that is where the real transformation happens. In silence, while the world is busy laughing, you are quietly becoming stronger. While people are distracted, you are building something real while they are comfortable. You are growing. Progress rarely looks impressive in the beginning. It looks slow, it looks messy, it looks uncertain, but progress compounds. Small efforts repeated over time become something powerful. 1 hour of discipline becomes a habit. One habit becomes a new identity, and a new identity becomes a completely different life. But most people never reach that point because they stop too early. They stop when the results are still invisible. They stop when the doubt around them becomes too loud. They stop when the laughter feels too heavy. But imagine something for a moment. Imagine what happens if you don't stop. Imagine what happens if you keep building quietly, consistently, without needing approval, without needing validation, without needing anyone else to believe in your vision. At first, nothing changes. The same people continue laughing. The same doubts continue appearing. The same voices continue telling you it's unrealistic. But slowly, something begins to shift. your skills improve, your mindset sharpens, your discipline becomes stronger. The small results begin to appear, and suddenly, the same people who laughed start noticing something. Not the dream, the results. Because the world does not respond to potential, it responds to proof. And proof changes everything. When results start appearing, the laughter fades, the jokes disappear, the doubt becomes quieter, and something interesting happens. Those same people who once questioned you now watch you silently, because success removes the need to explain yourself. Success answers every doubt without saying a word. And the most powerful part of the story isn't that you proved them wrong. It's that you proved something to yourself, that you were capable of becoming more than people expected, more than people believed, more than people imagined. Because the truth is, every person who ever did something remarkable was doubted at the beginning. Every idea that changed the world sounded unrealistic at first. Every dream looked impossible before someone made it real. So, if people laugh at your goals, it doesn't mean you're wrong. Sometimes it means you're simply early. The beginning of every powerful story looks ordinary, but the ending is built by the people who refuse to stop. So let them laugh, let them doubt, let them misunderstand your vision, because one day something will change. One day the results will appear, and the same people who once laughed will be watching, not laughing, not doubting, just watching in silence. Because by then, your success will be speaking for you.